Hi, I'm here with my friend James, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about his background and experience in health and give us some tips. So, James, can you tell my class what you do and how long you've been doing it?
Well, I'm a personal trainer. I've been doing it for over 40 years. Now, I like to use the term movement practitioner, and I'll explain to you what that's all about when I tell you about my history. I was in the military. I did 20 years studying sports medicine and rehabilitation. I also played athletic sports in the sense of I tried out for the NBA. So I know a lot about working hard and making that commitment to get to your goals. So one of the great things about it, having a sports medicine background, I'm able to look at the science. And that's the key part about this. I think it's really great because I use these three principles. And these three principles are, I look at physics, talking about ground reaction, talking about mass and momentum, things of that nature. I look at anatomy, physiology, talking about your body, how it's structured, talking about the muscles, the origin and insertions, the circulatory system, talking about your anatomy, organs and glands. And the third one, which I think is the most important, behavior. Anxiety, joy, pain, fear, sadness. All those things are important when I'm working with someone because if you're in a bad mood, you're not going to learn.
Right.
So I look at those three principles. From those three principles, I create my strategies.
Okay, well, that's amazing. We actually are in 6th grade health right now,
Oh,
and we
cool.
are learning about how the dimensions of your health are interconnected.
Uh-huh.
Your physical health, your mental and emotional health, your social health,
Yes.
spiritual and
Yes.
environmental.
You're right on.
We spend more time talking about mental and emotional health as
Okay.
well as how tobacco and vaping and even fentanyl can affect the body and
Of course.
everything. So can you tell us anything, well, do you work with middle school students?
Oh yes, I work with all types, from the novice to the professional athlete.
Okay.
One of the things I look at, I call it human development. Okay, when we look at things like functionality, how do you survive in this environment?
Mm-hmm.
Our environment has changed throughout the years. So one of the best things I look at is trying to look at what we call ground. How do you walk? How do you breathe?
Mm-hmm.
How does your body actually move? That is the
How's your posture?
Right. You'd be surprised with gravity force loads on our bodies, how it changes, and we're not even aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at what we call sensory, your sense of where your body is in space. So we talk about that in a term I use this term called proprioception.
Mm-hmm.
But technically it's just like the spirit of movement.
Okay.
Where's your body moving when you're trying to move it? How do you move it? Those little basic things you think people just do it kind of like naturally, but it doesn't happen that way.
At what age do you think people tend to, on average, learn how they're moving in space?
Well, there you go. You talk about child development. You start off real early, but you don't even realize it's more what we call unconscious.
Mm.
So like from infancy to about like 6 years old, it's all about just reacting.
Okay.
As they get older, then those neurons start to fire off a little bit more. After the age of like 12, all the neural development you have is there.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why when I work with kids that are younger than that, I just have them do more instinctive movement, just dance, fun. I call it free to play.
Right.
So I'm looking at things and just really kind of guiding them in those principles. After the age of 12, then I start getting a little bit more in tune to what they need to do based on the specifics of what they want.
Okay, so more structure.
Yeah, it's a structured kind of environment, things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any tips that you like to give to middle school students?
Of
Any
course.
basic general health and wellness tips that
Yes.
you see that, especially nowadays?
One of
Because
the-
I know nowadays our culture is different, our behaviors are different.
Yes, it is.
So what do you tell kids?
So one of the big things we look at is talking about nutrition, understanding what it does for our system. One key thing is inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk about what foods can cause inflammation, because if you got inflammation in your system, you can't function.
Right.
So we start talking about healthy foods, looking at things that are more organic in nature, looking at understanding, instead of looking at the food pyramid, which they used ages ago, we look at how your body responds to what you're eating.
Mm.
Okay, that's a key thing. So one quick assessment I do for everyone, even your 8th graders can do this one, is that when you eat, an hour later, write down how you feel.
That's our next homework assignment,
Okay,
guys.
so these 3 categories you put down there. After you eat, 1 hour later, do you feel energetic?
Mm-hmm.
Or you go, I have no change. Or you feel very tired.
Mm-hmm.
The foods that
Or
make
sick.
you are sick.
I overeat.
So the foods that make you feel tired,
Oh.
those are the ones you need to stay away from. Because they create so much inflammation, Now I'm getting down this rabbit hole a little bit here, but when you talk about inflammation, you're talking about toxins in your body. And when you have toxicity in your body from ingesting something, your body has a great way to protect itself. It creates inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
So the more inflammation you have in your body, the more you break down your tissues, the more you can get sick, and then there's a whole cascade of issues and symptoms that you might come with.
So the inflammation is like you're fighting something.
Yes, it is. So when you see somebody that's got a lot of inflammation, like feel sick or they feel kind of bloated, that's your immune system fighting something that's in your system.
My husband calls that my toxic trait.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I look at. That's easy to do, a checklist. And then from there you can look at it and see the foods that really are not that good for you.
Great. So we just need to get some more awareness about how we're feeling based on what we have done.
Correct.
To ourselves.
Yes.
Or with ourselves.
Yes. Well, yeah. And another thing I look at, I do this thing called 3D movement, which anyone can do. They can do this as well. Now, the key to it is you got to understand three-dimensional. So I know you're studying that a little bit, three-dimensional. So we got what we call transverse, we have what we call sagittal, and then we have frontal. Okay. So basically what that is in the sense that when we're looking at our body, we're going to move our body. I'll just demonstrate for your students there. The sagittal plane is that I'm bending forward. Okay. This is sagittal plane. My leg going up and down is sagittal plane.
Okay.
My head going down and back up is sagittal plane.
Okay.
Then we have frontal plane. We move to the side. That's the frontal plane. Oh. My arm goes up here. That's the frontal plane. Leg out to the side. To the side. That's the frontal plane.
Okay.
Then the transverse plane. Rotation.
Okay.
Right? Our hips rotate. Our arms rotate. Yes. And then our leg, we get it rotating, coming back. Okay. Rotating like a pivot. So with that three-dimensional movement, you can have fun with that. And your students can create a nice little collage of 3D movement.
Oh.
They understand the three parts and create a dance with it. Ooh. Using those 3D movements. And that's a great way to get started.
Okay, we'll have to do that too. We'll have to talk more about that. Well, thank you, James, for your time.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it.
And
it's fun.
Where can my students reach you if they ever want to talk with you more about their health?
Definitely. They can come over to our gym right here. It's called Results Health and Fitness. Okay. It's here in Dunkirk. Okay. Now, I also do guest lectures too. If you want me to come there to your school and I can bring some toys there, we can do some exercises for toys. 20, 30 minutes. I love doing that too as well. Yes. Okay. So you can always invite me down. I would love to meet some of your students and kind of go over there and have some questions and answers at that point too as well.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right. Right on it.
Have a great night.
Great.